Here's something that might surprise you. Right now, there are over 80,000 people in Okinawa, Japan who are over the age of 100. Not 70. Not 80. 100 years old. And here's what's remarkable. Most of them still walk without assistance. They garden. They cook their own meals. They live independently. Now compare that to what's happening in most Western countries. By age 65, nearly half of all adults wake up with chronic pain. Back pain, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder stiffness. And it only gets worse from there. So what's the difference? Is it genetics? Maybe they just got lucky, right? Wrong. Researchers from Stanford University spent 7 years studying these communities, and what they found changed everything we thought we knew about aging and pain. It wasn't their DNA. It wasn't some expensive medication. It wasn't even their diet, though that played a role. It was something they did every single night before sleeping. Something so simple most people completely overlook it. And tonight, I'm going to share exactly what that is with you. If you're over 50 and you wake up feeling stiff, achy, or in pain, I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you. The reason you're waking up in pain isn't because you're old. It's not because your body is broken. And it's not because you need surgery or expensive treatments. The real reason is much simpler than that. And the solution is something you can start doing tonight, right before you go to bed. You see, what happens while we sleep is incredibly important. Our bodies repair themselves. Our muscles recover. Our joints restore their flexibility. But here's the problem. If we don't prepare our bodies correctly before sleep, none of that happens properly. Think about it like this. Would you park your car for 8 hours with the engine overheated and the wheels misaligned? Of course not. But that's exactly what most of us do with our bodies every single night. We go to bed tense, tight, and compressed. And then we wonder why we wake up in pain. The secret that keeps those Japanese centenarians moving freely isn't complicated. It's not expensive. And you don't need a gym membership or special equipment. What you need is a simple nighttime routine. A sequence of movements and habits that prepare your body for deep, restorative sleep. The kind of sleep that actually heals your joints and reduces inflammation instead of making it worse. Over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through 7 specific things you can do before sleeping that will transform how you feel when you wake up. These aren't theories. These are scientifically proven techniques used by the healthiest elderly populations in the world. And I promise you this. If you start doing these tonight, you'll notice a difference within 1 week. Within a month, you'll feel like a different person. So let's get started. Let's start with something most doctors never talk about. Before you sleep, your body needs to flush out the metabolic waste that builds up in your joints throughout the day. Every time you move during the day, tiny amounts of inflammatory compounds accumulate in your knees, hips, shoulders, and spine. If these stay there overnight, they crystallize. They harden. And that's what causes that terrible morning stiffness you feel. A study published by the Kyoto University School of Medicine followed 2,000 adults over 60 for 3 years. Half of them did nothing special before bed. The other half spent just 5 minutes doing gentle joint circles. Ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, wrists, neck. Nothing strenuous. Just slow, controlled circles in both directions. The results were stunning. The group that did the joint circles reported 73% less morning pain. 73%. Just from 5 minutes of movement. Here's what you do. Before you even think about getting into bed, stand up or sit in a comfortable chair. Start with your ankles. Rotate them clockwise 10 times, then counterclockwise 10 times. Move up to your knees. Then your hips. Your shoulders. Your wrists. Finally your neck. Slow and gentle. No forcing anything. This simple ritual increases synovial fluid production. That's the lubricant your joints need to move smoothly. Think of it like oiling a door hinge. Without it, everything creaks and hurts. You can do this while watching television. You can do this while talking to your spouse. It takes 5 minutes. And it changes everything. Now, I want to ask you something. Have you noticed more stiffness in your joints over the past few years? If so, write in the comments how long you've been dealing with this. And tell me where you're from. I'm curious to see how common this is across different countries. Here's something that shocked me when I first learned about it. Over 68% of Americans over 50 are deficient in magnesium. And most of them have no idea. Now, why does this matter for pain? Because magnesium is what tells your muscles to relax. Without enough magnesium, your muscles stay contracted all night long. Imagine clenching your fist for 8 hours straight. That's what's happening to your back, your neck, your legs while you sleep. Researchers at the National Institutes of Health discovered that taking magnesium 1 hour before bed reduces muscle tension by up to 60%. It also improves something called deep wave sleep, which is the phase where your body does most of its healing. But here's the key: timing matters. If you take magnesium with dinner, your body uses it for digestion instead of muscle relaxation. If you take it right before bed, it might upset your stomach. The sweet spot is exactly 1 hour before you plan to sleep. That gives your body time to absorb it and start relaxing your muscles right when you need it most. The best form is magnesium glycinate. It's gentle on the stomach and highly absorbable. Most people need between 300 and 400 milligrams. You can find it at any pharmacy or health food store. It's inexpensive. About $10 for a month's supply. Within 3 days of taking magnesium before bed, most people notice they wake up with less muscle soreness. Within 2 weeks, the chronic tightness starts to disappear. Now let me be clear. I'm not a doctor, and you should always check with your physician before starting any supplement, especially if you're taking medications. But for most people, magnesium is safe and incredibly effective. Think about it. Your body needs 27 different minerals to function properly. If you're missing even one of them, everything suffers. Magnesium happens to be one of the most important for muscle and joint health. This next one is something physical therapists charge hundreds of dollars to teach. But I'm going to give it to you right now, completely free. Throughout the day, gravity compresses your spine. By the time you go to bed, you're literally shorter than you were when you woke up. Sometimes by as much as half an inch. All that compression squeezes the discs between your vertebrae, reducing blood flow and increasing inflammation. If you go to sleep in this compressed state, you'll wake up with back pain. Guaranteed. The solution is something called constructive rest position. And it's incredibly simple. Here's what you do. About 30 minutes before you want to sleep, lie flat on the floor. Not your bed, the floor. Bend your knees and place your feet flat on the ground, hip width apart. Let your arms rest at your sides, palms facing up. Now here's the important part. Do nothing. Just lie there. No phone. No television. No reading. Just breathe and let gravity do the work. What's happening is this. When you lie flat with your knees bent, your spine naturally decompresses. The pressure releases from your discs. Blood flow increases. Inflammation decreases. A study from the University of Southern California's Department of Orthopedics found that just 10 minutes in this position reduces spinal compression by 42%. Participants reported significantly less lower back pain the following morning. I recommend staying in this position for at least 10 minutes. 15 is even better. Some people listen to calm music or do breathing exercises. Others just close their eyes and rest. After 10 to 15 minutes, when you stand up, you'll feel taller. You'll feel lighter. Your back will feel open and relaxed. Then, when you get into bed, your spine is already decompressed and ready for healing sleep. This technique costs nothing. It requires no equipment. And it's one of the most powerful things you can do for your spine. Here's my question for you. Do you currently experience lower back pain when you wake up? If yes, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it? Write your answer in the comments. Let's see how many of us are dealing with this. Now, this one might sound too simple to matter. But I promise you, it's one of the most important things on this list. Your joints are approximately 70 to 80% water. When you're dehydrated, that percentage drops. Your cartilage becomes brittle. Your synovial fluid becomes thick and sticky. Movement becomes painful. Here's the problem. Most people over 50 are chronically dehydrated and don't even know it. As we age, our thirst mechanism becomes less sensitive. We simply don't feel thirsty the way we used to. A groundbreaking study from Harvard Medical School tracked the hydration levels of adults over 60. They found that nearly 75% were in a state of chronic mild dehydration. And these same people reported significantly higher levels of joint pain and stiffness. But here's where it gets interesting. When they increased their water intake by just 16 ounces per day, joint pain decreased by an average of 40% within 2 weeks. So here's what you need to do. 2 hours before bed, drink 16 ounces of water. That's 2 full glasses. I know what you're thinking. Won't that make me wake up to use the bathroom? Maybe. But probably not if you time it correctly. 2 hours gives your body enough time to absorb the water and use it where it's needed. By the time you're ready for sleep, your bladder won't be overly full. But here's the real key. Make that water warm. Not cold. Warm or room temperature. Cold water causes your muscles to contract slightly. It also slows digestion. Warm water does the opposite. It relaxes your muscles and helps your body absorb the hydration more effectively. In many Asian cultures, elderly people never drink cold water. It's always warm or hot. They understand something we've forgotten in the West. Warm water is medicine for aging joints. Try this. For the next 7 days, Drink 16 ounces of warm water exactly 2 hours before bed. Pay attention to how your body feels when you wake up. I think you'll be amazed at the difference. And while we're on the topic of hydration, let me mention something else. If you drink caffeine or alcohol in the evening, you're actively dehydrating yourself. Both are diuretics, meaning they pull water out of your body. If you're serious about reducing morning pain, cut out caffeine after 2 p.m. and limit alcohol in the evening. This technique comes from a practice that Japanese physicians have used for over 300 years. It's called body scanning, and it's one of the most powerful tools for reducing pain that I've ever encountered. Here's what happens to most people. Throughout the day, we accumulate tension in our bodies without even realizing it. We clench our jaw. We raise our shoulders. We tighten our stomach. We grip our hands. By the end of the day, we're carrying around 20 or 30 different points of tension, and we don't even know it. Then we get into bed still holding all that tension, and we wonder why we can't sleep well and wake up in pain. The tension inventory scan solves this problem, and it takes just 5 minutes. Here's how it works. After you get into bed but before you turn off the lights, lie flat on your back. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Now, starting at the top of your head, mentally scan down through your entire body. Pay attention to every area. Your forehead. Are you clenching your jaw? Your neck. Are your shoulders raised? Your chest. Are you holding your breath? Your hands. Are your fists clenched? Keep scanning. Your lower back. Your hips. Your thighs. Your calves. Your feet. Are your toes curled? Every time you find tension, consciously release it. Let your jaw drop open slightly. Let your shoulders fall back onto the mattress. Unclench your fists. Relax your feet. A clinical trial at the Stanford Sleep Medicine Center studied this technique with 400 adults experiencing chronic pain. After 30 days of nightly body scanning, 81% reported significant improvement in sleep quality and morning pain levels. Why does this work? Because chronic pain and chronic tension create a feedback loop. Pain causes tension. Tension causes more pain. The cycle continues indefinitely unless you interrupt it. The body scan interrupts that cycle. It teaches your nervous system to release what it's been holding onto. Over time, you'll start to notice tension earlier in the day. You'll release it before it accumulates. And that means less pain, period. I want you to try something right now, even if you're not in bed. Close your eyes for just 10 seconds. Scan your body quickly. Are your shoulders tense? Is your jaw clenched? Are you holding tension somewhere? Most of you just discovered tension you didn't even know was there. Imagine carrying that tension for 8 hours while you sleep. No wonder you wake up in pain. Starting tonight, make the body scan part of your pre-sleep routine. 5 minutes. Every night. It's free. It's simple. And it works. This is one of the most counterintuitive things I'm going to tell you today. But it's backed by decades of research from institutions like Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic. Most people think that warmth before bed is good for pain. They take hot baths. They use heating pads. They pile on heavy blankets. And yes, heat feels good in the moment. But here's what they don't understand. Inflammation thrives in warmth. If your joints are inflamed and you heat them up before bed, you're actually making the problem worse. What you need is strategic cooling. Not freezing cold. Just cool enough to reduce inflammatory activity without causing discomfort. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that reducing core body temperature by just 1 degree Celsius before sleep decreases inflammatory markers by up to 35%. And those lower inflammation levels persist for hours, meaning less pain when you wake up. So here's the protocol. About 45 minutes before bed, lower the temperature in your bedroom. Ideally to somewhere between 62 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. I know that sounds cold, but trust me on this. If you can't control your room temperature that precisely, use a fan. Or sleep with lighter blankets. The goal is to feel slightly cool, not warm and cozy. Next, about 20 minutes before sleep, apply something cool to your major joints. Not ice, that's too extreme. Use a cool, damp cloth or a gel pack that's been in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. Place it on your knees for 5 minutes. Then your lower back for 5 minutes. Then your shoulders for 5 minutes. You can do this while sitting on the edge of your bed or lying down. What you're doing is bringing down the temperature of the tissue around your joints. This slows down inflammatory processes and increases circulation. When fresh blood flows to these areas, it brings oxygen and nutrients that promote healing. People from northern European countries, particularly Scandinavia, have understood this for generations. It's why they practice cold water therapy and keep their homes relatively cool. They've intuitively figured out what science is now proving. Controlled cooling reduces inflammation and pain. Now, I know some of you are thinking this sounds uncomfortable. And I'll admit it takes a few nights to adjust. But I want you to try it for 1 week. Just 7 days. See how you feel. Most people report that by night 3 or 4, they're sleeping deeper and waking up with noticeably less stiffness. By week 2, it becomes a habit they can't imagine living without. One more thing about this. Make sure your feet stay warm. This might sound contradictory, but it's important. While you want your core and joints slightly cool, cold feet actually disrupt sleep and constrict blood flow. So wear comfortable socks. Keep your feet covered. But keep your room cool and use cooling techniques on your major joints. That's the winning combination. Now we come to the most important technique of all. And this one might surprise you because it has nothing to do with physical movement or supplements or temperature. This is about your nervous system. And specifically about something called the vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is like the master control switch for your entire body. It regulates inflammation. It controls your heart rate. It manages your digestive system. And most importantly for our purposes, it determines whether your body is in healing mode or stress mode. When your vagus nerve is activated in a healthy way, your body produces natural anti-inflammatory compounds. Your muscles relax. Your heart rate slows. Your body enters a state where it can actually heal itself. But here's the problem. Most people over 50 live in a constant state of low-level stress. Maybe you're worried about your health. Maybe you're concerned about money or family. Maybe you're just frustrated with the daily aches and pains of aging. All of that stress deactivates your vagus nerve. Your body stays in fight or flight mode. Inflammation increases. Pain increases. Sleep quality decreases. It's a vicious cycle. The solution is something that's been practiced in Okinawa, Japan for centuries. Every evening before sleep, they practice what's called grateful breathing. Here's how it works. Sit comfortably on the edge of your bed. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Close your eyes. Now think of 3 specific things from today that you're grateful for. Not generic things. Specific things. Maybe the sun was warm on your face this morning. Maybe you had a good conversation with a friend. Maybe your knee hurt a little less today than yesterday. As you think of each thing, say it out loud or in your mind. Then take one long, slow breath. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. Do this for all 3 gratitudes. 3 things. 3 breath cycles. Takes about 2 minutes total. What's happening here is profound. The act of gratitude activates your vagus nerve directly. The slow breathing amplifies that activation. Together, they shift your nervous system out of stress mode and into healing mode. A study from the University of California at San Diego followed 200 adults over 60 who practiced this technique for 8 weeks. Compared to a control group, they experienced 46% less morning pain and 52% better sleep quality. Why does this work so well? Because pain isn't just physical. It's emotional and neurological too. When you're stressed, anxious, or depressed, your pain threshold drops. Everything hurts more. When you practice gratitude and intentional breathing, you raise your pain threshold. The same stimuli that would normally cause pain suddenly become tolerable. I know this might sound too simple or too new age for some of you, but I'm asking you to set aside skepticism for just 1 week. Try this every single night before sleep. And here's what I predict will happen. You'll sleep better. You'll wake up with less pain. And over time, you'll start to notice that you're calmer during the day, less irritable, more resilient. This isn't just about pain management. This is about changing your relationship with your own body. About treating it with respect and gratitude instead of frustration and resentment. Your body has carried you for 50, 60, 70 years or more. It deserves your appreciation, not your anger. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you something. Out of these 7 techniques we just covered, which one resonates with you the most? Which one are you going to start doing tonight? Write your answer in the comments. And also, tell me how old you are and where you're watching from. I love seeing this community grow and learning about people from all over the world who are committed to aging with strength and vitality. Some of you might be from Japan or Scandinavia or the Mediterranean. Some of you might be from the United States or Canada or Australia. Wherever you are, know that you're part of a global movement of people who refuse to accept pain and immobility as inevitable parts of aging. So let me bring this all together for you. If you're over 50 and you're waking up in pain, you now know it's not just because you're getting older. It's because your body isn't getting what it needs to heal itself during sleep. The 7 techniques we covered today are not complicated. They don't require expensive equipment or medications. They don't take hours of your time. But they are powerful. And when you do them consistently, every single night, they create a compound effect. 1 week from now you'll notice a difference. 1 month from now you'll feel transformed. Think about what life could look like if you woke up every morning with less pain, with more flexibility, with more energy. You could take that walk you've been putting off. You could play with your grandchildren without worrying about your knees. You could travel without fear of your back giving out. You could reclaim your independence and vitality. Not someday. Not after some miracle cure. Starting right now. The secret isn't youth. It's not genetics. It's not luck. The secret is taking care of your body in the specific ways it needs, especially before sleep when healing happens. Those centenarians in Okinawa aren't superhuman. They don't have access to medical technology we don't have. They simply do things differently. They move their joints every evening. They manage their stress. They prepare their bodies for restorative sleep. And now you can do the same. Tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to do at least 3 of the 7 techniques we discussed. Do your joint circles. Drink your warm water. Do your body scan. Tomorrow morning, pay attention to how you feel. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Then, every night for the next 30 days, commit to this routine. Make it non-negotiable. As important as brushing your teeth. Because here's the truth, you can't control getting older. But you absolutely can control how you age. You can choose vitality over decline. You can choose mobility over stiffness. You can choose to wake up feeling good instead of waking up in pain. The power is in your hands. And it starts tonight. If this video gave you hope or taught you something valuable, please click the like button. It helps other people who are struggling with morning pain find this information. And definitely leave a comment. Tell me your age and where you're from. Tell me which technique you're most excited to try. I read every single comment and I love hearing your stories. If you want more content like this, more science-backed strategies for aging with strength and vitality, click the subscribe button. We post new videos every week focused on helping you live your best life after 50. And finally, I've put a video in the description below about the 5 foods that reduce inflammation naturally. If you combine these evening techniques with the right nutrition, you'll be unstoppable. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about your health. And remember, age is just a number. How you feel is a choice. Sleep well tonight. And wake up stronger tomorrow.